GitHub introduced the GitHub Actions, which you can use to deploy the applications onto Azure components. GitHub can be helpful to set up a similar kind of implementation which you perform with Azure DevOps project. It can be helpful to set up the CI/CD pipeline. The deployment using the GitHub Actions is fairly easy. If you are not aware about how to deploy the web application with the GitHub Actions, this is the right place to start with it. In this particular tutorial, we are going to use the GitHub Actions web application deployment. Hi, this is Rakesh Suryavanshi. I'm going to discuss the GitHub Action for the web application deployment right from the beginning. First of all, let's create a new repository in the GitHub. If you want, you can create a GitHub repository, or if you prefer, you can create a repository on the DevOps Git as well. For now, I'm going to create a GitHub repository. I'm going to call it as an GitHub Action demo, and then I'm going to use Visual Studio as an ignore file, and then choose the initialize as well so that it initialize the repository. So I'm done with creating the repository. Now let's clone this particular repository on my machine. At the moment, I'm using the Visual Studio code as an IDE. If you prefer, you can use any other type of IDE as well. So let's choose this particular folder. Here I'm going to delete this folder, I don't need that. Go to the new terminal, clone the repository, git clone. This should be able to clone the repository. So I've cloned the repository successfully on my Git. Next, you need the ASP.NET Core application. So we are going to create the ASP.NET Core MVC application on our GitHub repository. For that, I need the .NET Core CLI installed on my MacBook. So at the moment, I've used this particular link, which I'm showing it on my screen. So you can go ahead and download the .NET CLI if you don't have the Visual Studio. Let's say if you're using the Windows application and you don't have the Visual Studio to create the .NET Core application, you can go ahead and download the .NET Core CLI on any machine, any platform, and then run the command line tool, the .NET command, to create the Visual Studio MVC application or any .NET type of application, .NET Core application. So let's create the .NET application by running the .NET new MVC. By doing this, I should be able to create the application. First of all, I need to move to the folder. Next, .NET new MVC. This should be able to create a new application. As you can see, the new application has been created on this particular folder. Let's check in the application. Git add commit the changes. I'm adding new .NET Core app. So I've committed out. Let's run the git push command. This should push the changes onto the repository. As you can see, the changes are pushed onto the repository. I should have the code available now. Let me refresh it. Yep. So I have the changes with me. Now the next thing which we need to do is we need to go ahead and create the action. Before I create the action, let me make sure and create a new ASP.NET Core application or web app in my Azure subscription. So I'm onto my Azure subscription. I'm going to create the web application, web, new web app, creating a new web app here, calling it as an GitHub Actions, action. So this is the name I've given. I'm choosing the .NET Core 3.0, 3.1 basically. Let's create the application now. So this is going to create an application for me, which I am going to use for my deployment. So as you can see, I've created a web application right from the beginning, just to make sure the application was not deployed as is. This might take a while. So the web application is ready. I'm going to browse it just to make sure it's working fine as it is expected, and as you can see, it's working with the default page. Next, what we need to do is we need to go ahead and create the Azure Actions, GitHub Actions basically. So there are a number of templates, built-in templates given by the Azure, by the GitHub, which you can use it. So I'm going to scroll it down and find the appropriate template for our demonstration, which is ASP.NET Core built-in test. So this is the template which I'm looking for. Let's select as in workflow. So as you can see in the GitHub, what they are doing is right now is there are built-in action type, or the utility actions are nothing, just utility projects. Multiple people they have built up, they have contributed and created as an asset, which they are calling it as an actions, which you can utilize it for your own use. So as you can see, when I choose the template, it provides me a couple of actions. For example, even to check out my source code from my repository, I have an action called the self checkout basically. So we are calling it as an use the checkout actions to check out or download the repository code. Next, what it is saying is use the .NET Core setup to set up the .NET Core application, and then build and the test. So let's see what do we need to do. So first of all, I need to make sure I am working on, and you can see it comes with a pretty good handy uh, built-in tool type. If you want to make any modifications, I like even better than uh, YAML, which is available in the Azure DevOps project. So I'm going to call it as an GitHub demo. So let's see, if your application into a specific directory, then you need to provide a directory path. First of all, I'm going to run and test this just to make sure it is working fine. Let's see. So actions would be available here, as you can see. As soon as I checked in or created a new action file, that has been triggered. I'll show you what all things it has got when I created a action. If you are aware about the YAML pipeline or the Azure pipeline concept, then it is almost as similar as that, or you can compare with the Jenkins pipeline as well. As you can see, it's trying to build, and the build is completed. It's fairly easy. Now, so what I've did here is, if I go to the code, once you create any actions, the GitHub check in that particular file under the .github/workflow folder. So at the moment, as you can see, I have the .NET Core YAML file created, which has couple of lines of code. So if you read out the code carefully, it says push the branches on the master branch, and also it will run on the pull request as well. And it is using at the moment Ubuntu latest as a platform, or the agent pool on your YAML pipeline in Azure DevOps, and then it has got couple of actions. So now if I want to modify, at the moment I'm just building this application, but I'm not deploying it. So to deploy the application, I need to have some more actions to be added. Let's first of all, as you can see, I have the build action here, and then I have the test. So at the moment I don't have any test cases, but whenever I'm going to have the test cases, so this should run the test case. Next, I need the publish command to be run. Publish uses. For the publish command, I'm going to use run same.NET publish. If you're not familiar about the command, you can go ahead to your Visual Studio or your terminal and then run the similar command. If the command works fine or not, at the moment I'm going to pass on the output folder or output location. Basically, the location of my artifact or a publish artifact where I want to deploy the artifact. So I'm going to use the environment variable .NET root, and then let's call it demo. Next, I need to have another action for the web app deployment. So let's you search the web app deployment actions. So on my left, on my very right of the screen, you can see a whole set of marketplace extensions are available. So as per your need, you can find out any marketplace extensions. For example, in this case I need the web app deployment marketplace extensions, so this is the one which I'm looking for. I'll click on that, and then you will find the whole set of link, and if you want you can go ahead and click on this particular detail. This will have the detail about the extension which you are going to use, how do you use the extension on the various scenarios and all those things. So this will provide the entire list what you can do with that. So let's see. Web app. This is the extension I'm looking for. I'll copy that and paste it here. I need to just move the indentation at the correct place. Now as you can see, it has pre-populated the properties. So now the properties which are useful for my demonstration or for my work, that those are the property which I'm going to use. The rest of them we are going to omit it basically. So this is asking for a publish profile, and this is what we need. We don't need any slots, packages we need, so I'm going to delete the slot, and I need a package. So package is the name of the artifact which I publish on my publisher step, so that it's the same thing which I'm going to use it here. Pardon me, it should be package. I don't need images or anything. Next we need the publish profile. So I'll go to the publish profile, get the publish profile. It will download the publish profile for me. I'll open the publish profile code here, my Visual Studio Code. Basically, I go to the desktop or the downloads. So this is the publish profile code. I've copied the publish profile code. Now what I can do here is I can go to the settings of my repository. This is the repository settings. Now click on the secrets, create new secret. So this is the secret which I have created just now. Let's go ahead and use the secret. Call it secrets. That's it. This should be fine. Now I should be able to deploy the application with the help of this. Let's see. I'll go to the actions because as soon as I have checked in the code, I should have the actions in queue. As you can see, the deployment is completed. Let's test the deployment now. Yep, I got the web application deployed successfully, and you can see the message again. If you want to test again, I'll go ahead and do some changes to my web application code. Let's do the changes on the view home. So instead of welcome, let's call it welcome to the GitHub Actions demo. As soon as I'm going to check in the code, it should deploy the code again. As you can see, code is updated now and the build is triggered. Let's refresh the deployment. The deployment is completed. Yep, as you can see, as soon as I've changed the code deployment, the deployment is completed and I got the changes reflected on my web applications. As I mentioned, there are a number of different action templates available and which are hosted on the GitHub Actions page. If you want, you can go ahead and leverage those templates, use it, customize it as per your need. I use this Terraform deployment for this particular Terraform template, which is very smooth, very good. And the thing which I like about the GitHub Actions is the kind of intelligence it provides. Though Azure DevOps also provides the intelligence on the web browser, but this one is better than the Azure DevOps in my personal opinion. So I will highly recommend you to scroll through all the available templates, and whichever suits to your need, use those templates. I hope this was useful. Thanks for watching it. See you in the next video.